On the last part, Future Trunks makes his way into the past like usual. However, since the present timeline does not know how to turn Super Saiyan, this results in a cause and effect, where Trunks himself also has no idea how to turn Super Saiyan either. So in the end, it still comes down to Goku to take down King Cold with Kaioken. 3 years later, the Z Fighters confront androids 19 and 20 like usual. However, Gero is completely prepared this time around. No battles had happened on our planet, so Gero has all the data he needs. His power and Android 19's capabilities far outclasses all of the Z Fighters there. To make things worse, the only one that stood a chance, Goku, also falls to the heart virus mid-battle. As Android 19 single-handedly wipes the floor with everyone there, Gohan gets a temporary rage boost, which manages to give him enough firepower to take 19 down. However, Gero then takes down Gohan afterwards. Thankfully, before Gero could finish any of the Z Fighters off, a well-timed distraction from Trunks and Krillin's solar flare allows them to escape mostly unscattered. Piccolo fuses with Kami, and the usual confrontation with Piccolo and Cell occurs, with Cell escaping Piccolo's grasp. Cell then finds Gero in his lab along with androids 17 and 18, as he absorbs them and becomes perfect. How will the Z Fighters handle this new threat? Will they be able to stand up to Perfect Cell? Well, these are questions we'll answer today on Dragon Ball Z. Sensing Cell's power, Goku knew that things were more urgent than ever. Goku flies over to where Vegeta was reflecting on his loss and suggests the hyperbolic time chamber like canon. Instead of Vegeta and Trunks going in first, Vegeta and Nappa enter the time chamber first, hoping to finally find a way to tap into the Super Saiyan transformation. They had all sensed Cell's power, and the chasm in power between them was ridiculous. Cell and Gero laid out their subsequent plans. They didn't need to scour the earth for the Z Fighters. All they needed to do was smoke them out. And Cell knew exactly what to do. Because the initial fight between him and Super Vegeta didn't occur, Cell didn't really have very high expectations of the Z Fighters' power. But he still wanted a good fight. Gero had a different objective, however. All he wanted to do was to kill Son Goku. For now, Cell and Gero's objectives aligned. Cell goes to the TV station like usual, announcing his presence to the world, and his intention to hold a tournament in 5 days' time. And if the people on Earth lose, he would destroy Earth. Gero himself obviously wasn't too happy with the time lag that Cell had implemented. However, at this point, he couldn't really oppose Cell. As Cell wipes out the entire human army, Goku clenches his fists in frustration. He wanted to go and help, but going now was simply suicide. Around a day later, Vegeta and Nappa exit the time chamber, with Vegeta having a wide smirk on his face. He proudly proclaims that he has finally achieved the Super Saiyan transformation, and after he takes down Cell, Kakarot is next. Vegeta flies away, leaving all the Z Fighters dumbfounded. Vegeta had clearly allowed the power of his new transformation to get to his head. Nappa himself still hadn't unlocked the form, though he was pretty close. Goku and Gohan then go into the time chamber like usual. Sensing Cell's power beforehand, they didn't have particularly high hopes in Vegeta. Vegeta flies towards Cell's power signature, arriving before Cell and Gero. Vegeta tells Cell to prepare himself. It was time for Cell to witness true terror, the legendary Super Saiyan. Vegeta yells as he transforms, his hair turning a light hue of yellow. Cell was pretty intrigued in Vegeta's transformation, but not his power. Vegeta's power still seemed leagues below Cell. Unfortunately for Vegeta, as soon as he strikes the thumb post, he gets destroyed again for the second time in a row. Cell doesn't even bother to take Vegeta seriously, leaving Vegeta defeated on the ground. Vegeta was in complete disbelief. Despite finally becoming a Super Saiyan of legend, his power was still underwhelming compared to Cell's. Vegeta flies away, his pride utterly shattered. As the countdown to the Cell game slowly ticks down, Goku and Gohan also exit the time chamber. Goku had managed to unlock Super Saiyan, but he hadn't quite mastered the form just yet. Unfortunately, Gohan still hadn't managed to unlock the transformation, but somehow his power was already crazy impressive. His high potential, along with being forced to keep up with Super Saiyan Goku, had allowed him to grow at exponential rates. So as usual, the rest take their turns in the hyperbolic time chamber, with Piccolo going in the next this time alongside Trunks, as Trunks still hadn't had his turn yet. Then Vegeta and Nappa going in once again for the second time. Goku decides to go in once more, as he was hoping he could master the Super Saiyan transformation in the second year. However, he tells Gohan to stay behind. Gohan objects, but Goku doesn't relent on his decision. Gohan didn't need to go inside any longer. He had already pushed himself to his absolute limit. However, what he lacked was the emotional catalyst to really tap into Super Saiyan. Deep down, Goku knew that Gohan might be their only hope. Instead, Goku decides to bring Trunks inside for a second time, hoping he could teach the young Saiyan the ways of a Super Saiyan. So, the Cell games arrive more quickly than we anticipated. Cell and Gero wait at the arena, waiting for the Z Fighters' arrival. As usual, Hercule appears first, making a fool out of himself, with Cell slapping him away in one hit. The Z Fighters then make their way to the scene, as Gero immediately wants to take revenge on Son Goku. So, the first match of the Cell games was Gero against Goku. Cell knew that Gero might not have it in him to win this fight, but honestly, he didn't care whatsoever. Despite Gero being his creator, he had no significant emotional connection with Gero. As Goku finishes Gero off, Cell simply watches with an expression of uninterest. Cell then steps up to the arena next, asking if he could have this next fight with Goku. This fight pretty much goes exactly like canon, even though Goku is still slightly weaker than his canon counterpart. However, Goku doesn't forfeit here to give Gohan a go. Goku knew that no one here could beat Cell unless Gohan really tapped into Super Saiyan. And after spending those 2 years in the time chamber and analyzing the Super Saiyan form, he knew that anger was the catalyst. He needed Gohan to get angry enough to tap into the form. And what better way to get Gohan angry than to watch his own father getting torn to shreds. Goku proceeds to be on the receiving end of the worst beatdown of his life. Cell slowly amps up his power as he fights, as he continues to beat Goku up. On the sideline, Gohan's anger is rising. Why was no one doing anything? Were they all just gonna sit by and watch his father die? Goku, having the life beaten out of him, goes back into his base form. Cell looks at Goku with an expression of utter disappointment etched onto his face. He expected better from the esteemed Son Goku. However, suddenly everyone feels a new key flare up. It was Gohan. Gohan's anger has finally reached a boiling point. Gohan's aura explodes in the yellowish light as he rushes at Cell, his momentary increase in speed catching everyone off guard. Cell barely manages to catch Gohan's first punch, but Gohan then backhands Cell away from Goku, sending Cell flying backwards. Super Saiyan 1 Gohan and Cell trade blows, and they seem to be evenly matched. Goku smiles at this. Gohan had finally tapped into his true potential. As Gohan slowly grows accustomed to his new Super Saiyan form, his power slowly eclipses Cell's. However, like Super Saiyan 2 in canon, Gohan's sadistic nature leaks out as he taunts Cell, not fully finishing Cell off. Cell grits his teeth. He knew that he might not be able to win this fight, so he suddenly decides to send a death beam that completely misses Gohan. Gohan laughs at Cell, asking if Cell had finally lost his touch. However, Gohan hears cries of anguish behind him. Gohan looks at the beam's target and realizes they had headed straight for his father, and because of his own negligence, Goku, who was still laying injured on the floor at the time, had lost his life to Cell's death beam. Gohan's anger rises up once again. However, Cell doesn't let up, choosing to shoot death beams towards all the Z fighters there. Vegeta, Nappa, and Trunks would be fine, as they were Super Saiyans, so Gohan chose to prioritize the others first, sorting away the ones headed for Tien, Yamcha, and Piccolo. However, the one headed for Krillin was a little far out of his reach. Gohan barely manages to make it in time, though he has to body block the blast rendering one of his entire arms useless. Cell laughs, thinking that he had finally won, as he cups his hands together, forming a Solar Kamehameha, as Gohan does the same as well, albeit with one hand. A beam clash ensues, where Gohan, thanks to Goku's encouragement like usual, manages to triumph over Cell, killing Cell once and for all. So, with the defeat of Cell, we will end off this series here. Following this series will simply realign with the original story into the Majin Buu saga, besides the fact that Nappa's alive. However, I really doubt that Nappa's presence would change things up too much. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and I'll see you all in the next one.